the PTR is also out.
Which is where a lot of today's news actually comes from.
Yeah,
because,
isn't that just the crazy shit, though? The PTR is already out. I mean, the next patch hasn't dropped, and the PTR for the patch after that is now live.
Yeah, I certainly have some interesting thoughts with that, and that I feel this is very... I don't want to say veered to... Well, okay, veered to the community at the online community writ large, the people who will be, watching us talk, the people who will be going to Wohead and comment and stuff like that. I think it's a little bit geared towards that in an effort to win the PR back and go, okay, well, this is how we do things. This is how we do things at a sped up rate. And it kind of ends up, they're going so fast, they almost feel like they could potentially be tripping over themselves in terms of that, just because of the timing. And I don't think it's actually a major problem. I do think I'd like to see if they're... it's the kind of thing I'd love to be able to talk to them pretty candidly and be like, okay, so what do you feel about PTR? Why are you, was there any issues with this? Because I know Taliesin asked Steve about it in an interview, and Steve the Dizzard, and he more or less said, yeah, there's no issues with the story content of 10.07 being the cinematic bit out before the patch, because it's part of 10.1. It's we obviously planned that. That's part of what we're doing. But I still think it's for people who are just playing, do they not feel a little bit...
It's a bit weird.
A little bit weird. What do you mean? What do you mean there's spoilers for the next patch out before the patch before the next patch is even out? I don't understand.
Yeah.
A little bit concerned, yeah.
Where people think about the, they think about the campaign as being the storyline of the expansion. That's definitely confusing. Mm-hmm. In the World of Warcraft, though, I feel like, okay, this is the needless thing. This is the thing they didn't need to do. They probably should have just dropped this, in my view, on launch day. Maybe it's one of those things where, who knows? For whatever reason, I suppose they thought that 10.1 made sense with us seeing this Prelude thing.
Which it did, to be fair.
Yeah, again, it's that weird thing, because we've talked about the lore in depth on the show. It's pretty damn good in-depth lore. I'm not exactly sure how many people are going to play through the Forbidden Reach and actually get all of it. Because one of the things I certainly see in our comments, there's people who will be the kind of default doomers about the lore, but they also very clearly will have went to zero effort to actually know what's going on in the game. So then they'll call bullshit and something, even though we're like, well, no, it's set up, it's over there.
Yeah, that's a whole other kettle of fish I'd like to do someday. Is the environmental storytelling of World of Warcraft is fantastic for those who are engaging, but why is it not working for other people, and how did they solve that? What is the key there? And I could talk about that for hours, to be honest. So it is just something about, I guess that's fine, right? Because you're making a game, you want to make the game for the people who want to enjoy it and will put the effort in.
Yeah. And
then that will have a network effect, and that will spread out. And it's kind of you design for the behavior you want. And sometimes if people don't want that behavior, they will naturally leave your product or leave your ecosystem, leave your game. And I think they seem to be happy enough to do that. They're not bending over backwards to try to include players who are clearly, I don't know how to say this, very burned out and go, nah, I'm not touching your shitty lore. Yeah. They're just we will do what we do. And when you want to come back, there's a free trial, by the way, be able to do that.
I think that's it. A lot of the community's been inoculated against believing that things are good, because for such a long time things were not good. And evidently from his perspective, saying this is the first time that this stage in the expansion I've not been kicking myself about a decision that we made. In saying that, he did also say probably, Azerite, whoops, Shadowland stuff, whoops. Which is, I guess, refreshing to know. But yeah, it's that thing. I think because of those missteps in the past, a lot of people are just inoculated against the good news, and it's going to take a long time. Basically, all of those network effect reasons why people word of mouth get themselves back to a game, the WoW audience is specifically inoculated against that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to take time.
You
just have to put in the work and earn it back.
Yeah, you understand why it wasn't a clean break.
Yeah,
it was a very, very messy falling out. So I think that makes sense.